In this video, I will show you two methods to use CSS with React. The first method is using a CSS file and the second method is using Inline CSS. So first let's create a new component. We can create it in the components folder. Let's call it hero.js. Then let's create a function component. Let's call it hero. Then let's return a JSX element. So this component returns a div that contains an h1 element with the text "Welcome to our store." Then we have two bootstrap buttons. So this is the first button and this is the second one. Now let's export this component and let's use it in index.js. So we can use the default export. Let's save the file and let's add the hero component just after the navbar. Let's press enter to import it. Let's save the file. So here we can see that we have this hero section. This is the h1 element, then we have some space. This is the first button and this is the second button. Now let's create a new CSS class that will be used to decorate this div. So we need to create a new CSS file. Let's create it in the source folder and let's call it app.css. So this file can be used for the entire application. That's why I created it in the source folder. Now let's create a new CSS class. Let's call it hero. Then let's set the background color. We can choose any color. Let's select this one, for example. Then let's set the padding. We can choose 50 pixels, for example. And to display the text in the center of the page, we can define the text align property. So the value is center. Then let's add some bottom margin. So this is all for this CSS file. Let's save it and let's use this class in the hero component. So first we need to import this file. Then we need to provide the path of the CSS file. So the hero file is available in the components folder, so we have to go back to the source folder. Then we have to provide the name of the CSS file. Now we can use the CSS class that we defined in this file. So we can use it in this div. So here we have to write class name. And the value is hero, which is the class that we created in this file. Let's save the file. So now we can see that we have this background color and the text is displayed in the center of the page. Also we have some paddings and here we have some bottom margin. Now instead of using a CSS file, I will show you how to use the inline CSS. So first let's delete the import statement. Let's delete the class name and let's replace it with the style attribute. Then let's copy the different properties of the CSS file. So we can copy all of these properties. Let's paste them just here. Let's display them on the same line. So this is what we do with the inline CSS in HTML. But with the JSX, we have to provide the style attribute with a JavaScript object. So let's delete the double quotes and let's replace them with brackets. So we need the first brackets because we will provide a JavaScript code. And we need to add a second brackets because we have to provide an object. So we can select all of this, then let's add brackets. Then we need to write the name of the CSS properties using the camel case notation. So the first word starts with a small letter and the other words start with capital letter. Also, we need to delete the hyphen. Then we need to provide the value as a string. So let's select it and let's put it between double quotes. Let's delete the semicolon and let's replace it with comma. Let's do the same thing here. Then here. And finally here. And finally, let's change the background color to be sure that we are using this inline CSS. So we can use this color. Now let's save the file. And here we obtain the same result with a different background color. So because this is a JavaScript object, we can save it into a variable and we can provide the style attribute with this variable. So let's cut this code. Let's create a variable. Let's call it hero style. Then let's paste the object. We can format it a little bit. Then let's provide this object to the style attribute. Let's save the file. And we have the same result.